From Wits and Weights, I'm Philip Pape, and this is Nutrition Science Daily, bringing you the latest in nutrition, fat loss, and health science, all in under 5 minutes. The debate over cooking fats is heating up, pun intended, hashtag dad joke, with some calling for a return to traditional options like beef tallow, and others who defend modern seed oils. And this conversation all over the internet has sparked renewed interest in how these different fats impact health, particularly when it comes to heart disease. Now, advocates for animal-based products like tallow is like lard, we covered this in another episode recently, argue that it's a natural fat used for centuries and it's not heavily processed like seed oils. Tallow contains saturated fats, which are stable at high temperature, so it's great for frying, for cooking. Saturated fats have historically been vilified for raising LDL, the quote-unquote bad cholesterol, but recent research does suggest the picture is more nuanced. And my position, and I think this is strongly supported by the evidence today, is excessive saturated fat intake, that is above 10% of your calories or above a third of your overall fat intake on a regular basis, may contribute to heart disease. And in contrast, moderate consumption, staying under that level, but still consuming them, especially when balanced with unsaturated fats, may not be as harmful, right? And there are a lot of confounding variables. There are a lot of different populations. When you account for lifestyle, you find that it's even less of a concern, even if you are a little bit on the higher end, but you don't want to be too high. So that's why I like the 10% cutoff. On the other side, seed oils get tons of hate in the fitness industry. And we're talking about soybean, canola oil, and soybean oil, by the way, is found in lots and lots of processed food. Canola oil tends to be more at home or in some processed foods as well. And both are rich in polyunsaturated fats, including omega-6 fatty acids. And these fats have been linked to lower LDL, or quote-unquote bad cholesterol, and a reduced risk of cardiovascular disease. But there are critics that say high omega-6 is a problem because it promotes inflammation if you don't balance it with omega-3s found in fatty fish and flax seeds, which, by the way, we found is much less of a concern than we thought. And that what's more important is getting a high level of omega-3s, not so much this ratio. Additionally, some seed oils undergo extensive processing, and people say that's a problem because it can introduce harmful compounds, many of which aren't included anymore, like trans fats, which have been all but banned. So, which fat should you choose? Well, it always depends on context and moderation. So if you're going to cook with really high heat, then sure, a fat like tallow or even coconut oil or avocado oil. I like avocado oil. These are all very stable fats. They could be a good choice because of reduced oxidative damage. They can handle the high heat. If you're going to go with a low heat option for salad dressings or cooking, but at a low heat, seed oils or olive oil, and I love olive oil. If you're gonna pick one oil of any oil at all, just go with olive oil. But still, seed oils are still kind of what we'd call heart healthy unsaturated fat when compared to saturated fats. All told, all things equal, so to speak. And then number 3 is just keeping an eye on that overall balance. And that's where the mix is really important. And we shouldn't vilify one or the other, right? Up to 10% saturated, the rest mono and polyunsaturated. And just monitor your health, monitor your numbers, and see how you respond to these things. But don't get hung up on the hate and the fear-mongering regarding seed oils when it comes to unsubstantiated claims like the inflammation, for example. Another takeaway here is the quality and source of your fat always matter. So if you are concerned with what happens during processing, then opt for less processed versions and opt to avoid unnecessary additives. Again, I'm not saying these things are going to poison you. I'm saying that if that is a concern for you, you have options, and buyer beware. So the bottom line here is both fats have their pros and cons. Neither is inherently good or bad. A very important message we have to take with us. What matters most is how they fit into your food matrix, your overall diet, and your lifestyle. By the way, having an active lifestyle with strength training and lots of movement mitigates the vast majority of any of these things that people are concerned with in almost any case for any food, for any type of diet. It's amazing how that works. So strive for that balance and that activity level. Prioritize nutrient-dense whole foods, and you'll be good. For more practical tips on building a sustainable nutrition plan. Check out my main podcast, Wits and Weights. Follow wherever you listen to podcasts and share this episode with anyone curious about cooking fats. All right, tomorrow we're going to explore whether frozen fruit is just as nutritious as fresh fruit. Follow the show so you get that episode tomorrow.